Stazko's products make a difference. Stazko's spray will save the day, cuts brushing time in half, guaranteed. A wonderful spray designed to make grooming easier, used by professional groomers, breeders, and pet owners. Now available, Stazko's shampoo. 1 gallon makes up to 25. Has the same unique scent as Stazko's spray. Stazko's shampoo and Stazko's spray is what you'll use every day. Watch the end of this video for details on all of John's products.
Welcome to the world of Snap-on combs. For those of you who use Snap-on combs now, I hope this video gives you some new insights as to more creativity with the use of Snap-on combs. For those of you who don't use Snap-on combs, I hope this opens up a whole new world of grooming experiences that you cannot acquire without the use of Snap-on combs. Just to give you a background on how I was first exposed to these combs, in the early 70s, these combs were actually nicknamed cheetah blades. And the concept behind using these blades was if you would go with or against the growth of hair until no hair would come off, you would have an even plush finish that did not require any scissoring. Well, we tried that a number of times, and all it succeeded in doing was putting holes in the coat and giving me more of a job to fix rather than make my job easier. So I put those combs in a drawer and never used them again. And then a couple of years later, one of my groomers had asked me why I didn't use them, and she started telling me different ways to use them. And since then, we've been using them for the last 10 years or so in all kinds of different applications that I want to share with you today. First of all, the Snap-on combs are not for all coats, and they are certainly not to take away scissoring. They will not replace a scissor-finished dog, but they will make the job easier by getting to the length, the scissor-finished length, a lot faster. And the name of the game in our business is productivity. The more groomings you can do in a given day, the more money you make. And if you can send out finished scissoring dogs faster, well, it's to everybody's advantage. But as I said, it's not for all coats. So there are some rules that I use in determining whether I should use Snap-on combs or not. And the first one is, I need a comb. The way this comb would feel through the coat is the way the Snap-on comb will react to the coat. In other words, if you have a very heavy, thick-coated dog, even though he's brushed out, and the comb won't pass through easily, neither will the Snap-on. The Snap-on will grab. So maybe that's not the type of coat to use it, but you can use the comb test to tell you how difficult or how easy it's going to be to work with the Snap-on comb. The second thing is the Snap-on combs, if I can walk over here and show you this now. The Snap-on combs, there's 6 different combs. There's a 1, a 1.5, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The higher the number, the closer the cut, the same as our metal blades. The number 1 leaves the most amount of hair, and it will leave more hair than any of our metal blades. And I'll get into long-coated dogs and extra length with these combs in a little bit. Let me go back over here, sit next to Misty. The next thing about Snap-on combs that I use is that you should use a 30 or a 40 blade underneath them. Most of the time I use a 40 blade. If I use a 15 or a 10 blade, I find it drags and it grabs and it will not cut smooth. But a 40 blade seems to work wonderfully. Also, I go in the direction of coat. I don't go up with and against the growth of hair. I go just in one direction with the growth of hair. Same as you're using your regular metal blades. If you do that, you'll find it'll cut smooth and it will give you the right lay of coat. 2 major cautions. The first is, these are plastic combs. I think they cost about $2 or $2.50. So there's a cost factor involved in using these combs too, because you can get all kinds of different lengths with a $2 tool as opposed to a $15 blade. I'm not saying you have to throw away all your other blades because you'll need them at other times, but you can certainly do a lot of work with snap-on combs and get those same type of metal blade lengths. I think the way it will go, depending on the type of coat it is a 1 will leave the most amount of hair, a 2 will be similar to a 4 blade, a 3 will be more like a 5, a 4 will be like a 7 metal blade. So it can cut the same lengths as your metal blades when it comes to the 3, 4, and the 5. 2 cautions that you should have are, first, these teeth right here will wear. Let me show you how you put this on the machine. There's 2 little catches in the back here that slip right behind the blade, and you pull it over and it goes right over the teeth. And now it's a snug fit. One of the things you have to be careful is as you use these frequently, this plastic will start wearing where the teeth run up and down. And what will happen is this ridge that holds it onto the blade will get very, very thin. I would throw the blade away and buy a new one before continuing to use it, because what will happen is as you're clipping, this will pop off and you'll wind up clipping the dog with a 40 blade, and you'll have a difficult time trying to explain to the owner why that dog looks like he's ready for surgery in that left-hand shoulder. So it pays to buy a new one rather than use an old one. And the next thing is the locks that are on your clippers. I know myself, I've used many times, I've worked with clippers with a broken lock where these just would flip back and forth. Well, I found out the hard way again that if that lock breaks and I'm using a snap-on comb, it will pull up and the blade will fall out and get caught in the hair, and the tongue of the machine will actually catch the hair and kind of irritate and aggravate the dog. So I would caution you on, make sure your locks are working and make sure that these plastic teeth aren't too worn. I'd like to get into a number of different applications and then go into a haircut on Misty here. But first I'd like to go back for a second. A minute ago I said when this snap-on comb wears, throw the blade away. I did not mean throw the machine 40 blade away or 30 blade. I meant throw the snap-on comb away. Now let's get into the different applications that you can use snap-on combs for. First thing is setting lengths. And by that I mean, let's say, for instance, a customer comes in with a miniature poodle or a toy poodle, and they're 6 months of growth, and they want a puppy-type clip, full, and you're going to have to scissor all of this hair down prior to the bath, and then re-scissor it after the bath to get that particular look. Well, many times you could just take a snap-on comb, a 1 snap-on, maybe a 2, depending on the length the customer is looking for, clipping that dog before the bath, then fluffing it out, and then scissoring it, and you'll find you'll have a nice, even, puppy-type length. And the reason for that is hair straightens when you fluff it, and you're gaining the length from that particular number 1 blade. The box on the 1 snap-on comb says it will leave 5/8 of an inch cut, but that could be 5/8 of an inch to almost an inch, depending on the type of coat and how much it hangs or how much it stands up. And I'll get into that a little further when we're doing this drop-coated dog. And as I said before, snap-on combs are not replacing scissoring. What they're doing is getting you to the finished length faster. Why spend an hour scissoring excessive hair when you can cut that off and then just get to your finished blade length or scissored length right away? Another way of setting lengths, let's say, I'll give you an example, a toy poodle comes in, and if you use the snap-on combs on his back legs, you may have a perfect length to just tidy up again with a pair of scissors. You have to make these notations on your card. A lot of my card files use a number 1 snap-on comb on the outsides of the legs and a 2 on the insides, et cetera, to give me those lengths, but it gets me right to the finished scissoring point in half the time. And let's face it, if you're doing 6 or 7 dogs a day, and you're saving 15 minutes or 20 minutes per dog a day, you can certainly do a few more dogs and still send out the quality work. Another feature of snap-on combs would be safety. I've had the experience many times where customers would come in and say, I want his face clipped, but I want it fuzzy. And up until using snap-on combs, I'd have to either scissor that hair off and work for quite a long time, and actually in a situation where it was dangerous because you have a dog that's moving and you're scissoring all around the face, you could actually take a snap-on comb and clip the whole face. I'm using my face when I have a dog right here. Clip the whole face and still leave a fuzzy type look. That's another use of snap-on combs with safety in mind. Ears are another safety feature. When you're clipping ears, as we know, the ear leather is very, very thin, and if you're using a metal blade, sometimes there's a chance that you could cut it and nick it. If you're using a snap-on comb, you'll not cut or nick a dog's ear. You'll also never burn a dog with clipper burn with snap-on combs, because the blade never ever touches the skin. The plastic blade is the plastic combs are the only thing that do touch the skin. Cat grooming. For those of you who do cat grooming, many customers have a problem maintaining their long-haired cats. So what happens is they'll come into the store and you wind up having to strip them with a 10 or a 15 blade because that's the only safe blade to use, or a 40 blade. So they go out as naked cats, and then they come back a year later and it's in the same situation. Well, you could use a snap-on comb, and it's very easy because there's no scissoring involved. It's just a question of following the lay of coat again, and you can take a cat coat to half its length and still allow it to still keep its identity with a lot less maintenance. What's good about that is you can have a cat customer coming in on a 6-week basis for a haircutting without bath, of course, if it's not dirty, and you're having a repeat customer in the cat grooming business as opposed to stripping it and not seeing it for another year. Springer coats are a very, very important lesson I learned with snap-on combs. I consider Springer-type dogs gravy dogs in my grooming shop, if you will. And one day, out of frustration, when I had a Springer on the table, and as I was clipping, what would happen is the blade would just grab and jam with my metal blades, and I'd have to take it out, clean it, and go another 2 inches, and it would catch again, and I'd have to clean it out, and the undercoat kept bottling up that blade. So this easy clip dog, which I would consider a gravy dog, was taking me endless periods of time trying to clip out that coat. So out of frustration, I grabbed a snap-on comb and went right through it with one shot without having to get any snags from the undercoat. And the reason is because the blade doesn't actually touch the skin. So now what I do with Springer coats and similar type coats is I'll use a snap-on comb the same length as the metal blade before the bath. After the bath, when the undercoat and everything is out, finish it with the metal blade. And I've saved all that time and didn't have to stop and keep cleaning out that blade. Excuse me. Now, those are some of the uses, and I'm sure there are many, many more. The most important that I emphasize is the natural look, especially on our long-coated or our drop-coated dogs, our Shih-Tzu, Lhasas, Maltese, Yorkshires, those type coats. One of the problems I used to experience is a customer would bring a beautiful puppy like this in, and this is a puppy. This is Mystie. She's an 8-month-old Shih Tzu from Kismet Shih Tzu in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And she's specifically picked for this demonstration because she's an 8-month-old puppy, which we all get in our grooming shops. And one of the problems I've always experienced is when a customer brings in a beautiful coated dog like this, but they can't maintain the coat, going into a 5-blade clip on this type of coat and shortening the head and leaving the ears, that was not an attractive change from the actual beauty of this dog's coat. So the customers would kind of want it to regrow again, because it was a drastic difference from full coatedness like this to a 4 or a 5-blade length, which certainly changes the texture of the coat and makes it very difficult to blend in and make it look as natural. Let's face it, we can't make this coat look more beautiful than what nature's given it. But if we are going to do hair cutting, we certainly can try to keep the textures of the coat the same so that it doesn't look unnatural. So out of the fact that customers would say, oh, I don't really like that haircut, let it grow back, and we'd have a double-edged sword there, because now as it grew back, they couldn't maintain it, then it would come back to the shop and they were all knotted. Using the snap-on combs allowed me to make the transitions in a gradual situation where I could actually trim a little bit of the coat, and then the following month the customer would say, well, that's okay, could you trim it a little bit more? And 4 or 5 months up the road, I'd find that this dog was in a complete haircut and the owner loved it, because the transition from this full coat to that haircut 5 months up the road was not given to the customer in one quick sight. It was spread out over a 5-month period of time in 4 or 5 different type of haircuts. And that's what we're going to do to Misty today, is we're going to do a series of haircuts, if you will, starting from when she comes into the shop like this, and then the first haircut I would actually give this dog would be what I call a mini skirt. Rather than do any type of clipping on the dog at all, I would just suggest to the customer, well, let me tighten the dog up a little bit, let me tighten the skirt, let me tighten things up, and just still keep the same balance. Misty, you're going to stay like this. Good girl. I'm going to bring this post down, because I think I need you to. Okay, Misty. All right. Good girl. You're such a sweetheart. Yeah, beautiful dog. Just look that way and say hello to everybody. Okay, you stay, sweetie. It's a good girl. Now, what I mean by a mini skirt is I'm just going to take the actual skirt. Stay, sweetie. I want to make sure you see this when I do it. That's a good girl. Up you go. It's okay. As I said, I picked this 8-month-old dog so that you could associate this with the dogs that you get in your shop. I'm going to trim the feet. What was that, honey? Up you go. That's a good girl you are. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. I'm proud of you. Stay. All right, stand up. That's a good girl. And I'll just do a little bit of thinning. Good girl. to start bringing in some shape to her. But nothing that's going to be drastic so the customer thinks she got an entire haircut. That's a good girl. Stay. Now I just want to spin this table around so you see the other side, and you'll see it's just just a very little change. You can see the side that I didn't do yet, and you can see this. You can see a little bit of a change. Not much of one, but a little bit of shape. Didn't take an awful long time to do it, so that would be the first transition. And the second one, when the customer came in, is say, oh, make it a little shorter. Well, now I'll start using the snap-on combs. And what I'll do is I'll start with the number 1. And I always comb out right before I use the combs. It just makes life a lot easier. Rather than have to stop and pull the comb because there was a knot or a tangle there. Okay, I'll make it the quiet side. Okay, sweetie? It's okay. See? It's okay. This is our very first time ever hearing a clipper, so I'll play with her a little bit with it, right? It's a good girl, see? Doesn't hurt. That's a good girl. And you'll see quite a bit of hair coming off now, but we'll still get the texture of this coat just balanced so the dog still looks pretty natural. I'm going right into the leg, and I'm freehanding it the same as you would do if you were doing a metal blade, just to help me start getting a little shape to the leg. And the concept is the same as when you're using your metal blades. You will go over it until no hair comes off. Then your length will be set. Okay, so it's there. Look this way. Good girl. It's very important to go over with the growth of hair, otherwise you will chop this and cut the lay of coat just the way you would if you're using a metal blade. some of this hair out of the way. Yeah, sure, good girl. Now, even though that blade is designed to give 5/8 of an inch of coat, if I lift this up, you could see this is far more than 5/8 of an inch. And this is where I want to explain the benefits of snap-on combs on drop-coated dogs a little bit more thoroughly. Remember the concept of when we clip a coat, the coat is generally standing. So any blade that's designed to leave a certain length is based on the coat standing. So yes, if this coat was actually standing up, that one blade would leave 5/8 of an inch of coat. But in the fact that the coat is hanging, we're actually not taking off this length, we're taking off the thickness of the coat. So that's where you're able to keep fuller lengths, because this hair is not standing straight up as we clip it, it's hanging down. And because a 1 and a 1.5 leaves more hair than your metal blades, it's not going to crop it the way a 4 blade would. If you used a 4 blade on this, you'd have a lot more cropping situation. So that using a 1 blade will allow you to still give you a texture that's more in compliance with this dog's coat than if you did a 5 blade. Now, again, I could do a little trimming. A little bit more thinning on the legs. Start bringing in some more. And I'm also a firm believer, this is a drop-coated dog. I don't really believe in combing up and scissoring this type of coat. Her hair is not standing well because it's so long. In time, as it keeps getting clipped, it's going to start getting, and scissored, it's going to get more texture to it. But rather than work against this layer of coat, I'm going to work with the beauty of it and work with thinning shears to shape the legs so that when this dog walks, you see that shape at all times, without giving myself agita because I'm combing it and making holes in the coat by lifting it up. Yeah, very good girl, Misty. Really are very good. Wouldn't it be nice if all puppies were like this, wouldn't it? I mean, I met Misty about 25 minutes ago, so she's just a wonderful little cooperative dog. Okay, stay sweetie. I'll have to put you on this loop now, because you're too interested in what I'm doing. Have to look at the camera. Look at the camera. See the camera? Yeah. Stay over there. And I'm just tightening this skirt up a little bit more now. Stay, sweetie. Okay. Stay. Stay. Good girl. Stay. Let's see. Good girl. As you see, I'm still just taking bulk out of the legs and the body. I think the most impressive part of this haircut when it's all completed is the head, which we're going to be getting into next. The head and the ears. Let's see. Good girl. Stay. Happy little girl. Make me a happy boy and stay. Okay, now this will give you an idea of a haircut in comparison to a full-coated dog, but we still have the textures that comply with this particular animal's coat and color. Can you see that? Can you see it? You understand that? Okay, this is before we touched it. You can see how full we are here. Starting to see the change? You have any questions at this point? No? Okay. Now, the most important thing is, to me, this still looks unnatural. To me, this still looks very, very unnatural because we have this full-coated head tied up, we have all this hair hanging off the face, and we do have texture change now. You cannot avoid texture change when you cut a drop-coated dog's coat. But with snap-ons, now you can tie these textures all together, heads, ears, faces, and bodies, so that it actually does look natural all the way through, as opposed to a short body with long flowing hair on the legs and long flowing hair on the ears and face that do not necessarily match the body. I mean, some people like that particular look. I like more of a natural look. And a lot of our customers seem to think this is a real favorable look because it looks like that little stuffed animal that you see in the carnival. So now we're going to start attacking this head and changing the texture of the head to match the body. Now that was before, and this is now. and we're going to still keep clipping, but I just wanted to show you that little change so that when this whole haircut is done, this other side will still be left so you could see where we went, where we came from. Now, until I use snap-on combs, what would happen is after I gave a dog a haircut, let's say, on his body, the next thing I would do is trim the head, of course. The customer would say, okay, well, let's get rid of all this hair. And I would do something similar to this. This type of hair knots in 2 minutes. First thing I would do is bangs, so the dog could see. Define the eyes. And I'm protecting the eye with my finger right there for safety in case she moves. Clean out the bridge of the nose. Okay, okay. So, and I put the scissors away from the eyes, of course. Good girl. When you're cutting virgin hair like this, it's important to just take a little at a time so that you don't take the wrong hair out of the wrong place. Yeah, very good girl. We're starting to be able to see you now, a little bit. Now that I've cleaned that out, I can at least see where I can trim the bangs around her eyes. Let me see. Stay. Stay. virgin heads are tough, especially if you're not doing a snap-on. You just have to keep thinning it out to try to bring it in. But I want to do this just to show how the transition would take place. Good girl. Let me see you. Take this off you for a sec. Stay. Stay. Good girl. Yes, you're a very good girl. We're starting to get somewhere now. I can't wait to do this with snap-on combs. It makes life so much easier. Come here, honey. Let me see. Good girl. Stay. I'm going to be here all day trying to thin this out and trying to get the look that I want, and I can get it right away with snap-on combs, which I'm going to do. But again, once your dog comes in and you go from the transition of that full head and you cut it down, whether you make bangs or you bring it back, depending on what you could do with the coat, you still don't have quite of a natural look because you still have all this long coat hair here. and I could thin this forever, and I'm not going to get the texture that I really want. So now I'm going to go and do snap-on combs on the areas of this head to tie in this particular type haircut. And I'll start again, because this is all brand new, on this particular dog, I'll use a 1 first, and then a 1.5, and then a 2, depending on what length I want. Now as I clip, I'm going to clip this right into the ears. Now she has a cowlick here, so I'm going to make this a little shorter. I'll do a 2. I'm also going to do 2 right on the ears with the growth of hair, because what I want to do is I want to take away from the fact that everything else is getting a haircut by leaving the ears long. I want to bring that texture in as well, and then everything will seem to tie in more naturally. I'll do the underside of the ear and get rid of some of this hair. Yeah, good girl. Taking all that ear hair off as well. And don't get me wrong, the beauty of this dog, this haircut is not going to be as beautiful as this dog's natural coat. It's absolutely gorgeous. But when we're referring to giving a dog a haircut and you want it to look balanced all around and make it look as nice and natural as possible, you might want to use or investigate the use of these snap-on combs. Now, even though I did a 1 on the body, I was just tightening up the neck with a 2. You could do a 1 or a 2, anything that will blend in. See, I'm not doing too much on that side because I want to show you the transition of this whole haircut. But I do want to finish the head. So I'll switch to a 1 again because I'm going to do this whole neck area. Up, sweetie. Good girl. What a good girl you are. What a pretty girl. Good girl. Stay, sweetie. Okay, stay. That's a good girl. That's a very good girl. Now I'm going to trim the ears as well. And what I like to do is try to balance the ears about center into the dog's face. What I like about using snap-ons on the ears is you can leave the ears longer or shorter even after you've clipped them with the snap-on. And that will give you different facial looks. Stay, sweetie. That's your hair. Yep. No. Let me see. The other thing about the ear length being shorter is you'll never have to worry about the dogs coming in with matted ears. It'll help also with infections because there won't be so much hair to collect dirt and wax and grease. And of course the dog's not going to get his ears soaking wet when he drinks out of a water bowl or she drinks out of a water bowl. Good girl. Yeah, very good girl. Proud of you. Stay. Just because I gave you a compliment doesn't mean you ought to jump around now. Stay. Stay, sweet. I know. Stay. getting tired? Huh? Now you're starting to come in. Starting to come in now. Stay. I got it. It's okay. It's okay. Good girl. What a good girl. You stay. Stay, stay, stay. Yes, you're a good girl. Okay. Stay, stay. Stay, stay. Good girl. Stay, stay, stay. Stay. What a pretty girl you are. Come here. That's a pretty girl. Let me see. Let me see. Stay. Stay. Good girl. Stay. Good girl. Come here, good girl. It's okay. Stay. Stay. I'm going to give her a little water, so I'm going to take a break for a sec. Okay, sweetie. Back again. You had your water. You feel better? No, stay, 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 stay. Stay. You're just getting a little rambunctious now. Stay. You had your water. Now you have to listen to me. As I said before, Mystie is an 8-month-old Shih-Tzu. And she's acting just like an 8-month-old Shih-Tzu. But this is what we get in our store. And so rather than have a trained, perfect dog on this table for this video, which really, to tell you the truth, would have made my life a whole lot easier, I thought to make it more lifelike, because this is what we deal with every day. Stay. Stay. Good girl. Stay. Thank you. Stay. Almost done. Stay. 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 It's a good girl. Now you stay. Stay. Okay, now what I want to do is tighten up the body a little bit and then show you the change the drastic change we made from the beginning of this video. Now I'm using a 1 on the body again, but I'm going to go and take more excess hair off the legs, off the chest. Stay. Good girl. Up. Okay, mister, I'll put you on a loop now. I'm sorry, but you'll have to just learn to keep your head straight up for a little bit. That's a good girl. And stay. Stay. Just stay. See, the beauty of using a snap-on is if you freehand it down the legs, you can actually take off coat, bring the texture very similar to the top and the head and the ears, and save yourself an awful lot of scissoring time. No different than when you're using your metal blades. It's just a freehand clipping type effect. Okay, now I'm going to finish her up. And this, what you see when we're all finished, would be, let's say, after 3 different groomings coming into the shop. First the mini skirt, then a light one snap-on comb on the body with a little thinning, and a little thinning in the head, and then maybe the 3rd visit, trimming on the head, snap-on combs on the head, tightening up a little bit more. So you can see how you can go from a full puppy into a complete haircut in, let's say, 4 visits or over a 5-month period of time. Or some customers, when they want a haircut right from the start, go right into this haircut. But the textures, again, and I keep saying textures, but because everything seems to blend in texture, the dog looks like he's still a puppy, as opposed to that he just got a fresh haircut. Stay sweet. Up. You're almost finished. You're almost done. Good girl. Stay. That's a good girl. Stay, stay, stay. You're almost done. Almost done. You're almost done. Good girl. Good girl. You're almost done. She's a good girl. I'm very proud of you. Up, 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 up. Very proud of you. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Okay. I have to put you back on the loop, sweetie. I'm sorry. I want to show the finish of you now. Stay. What a good girl. Stay. Stay. I know you don't like that. Okay. There you go. That's a good girl. Okay. Okay. Let me see you now. Let me take a look. Okay. Let's stand up. Stay. Okay, this will give you an idea. If you look at the body, let me just get some of this hair off here. Get these tools out of the way. Stay steady. Now, it shows an anatomy that's cute, still gives her colors, her texture is still there. Her head, her ears, and her face tie in with all of the different textures. And we did this over a gradual period of, let's say, 3 or 4 grooming visits. Now, if you remember in the beginning, let me turn her around. This is what we started with in her body. And now this is what we have. Can you all see that? I'll show you again. This is what full coated. Now keep in mind, I did clip the top of the back here so I could work this area. But this would have been all on this side as well, on the top as well. And this is what we finished with. And her head now ties in. And there's variations of this haircut, shorter, longer, and by longer I mean not as much thinning and trimming because I used a 1 snap-on on her body, but a lot shorter. Some people would like a Shih-Tzu in a snap-on comb strip. By that I mean everything is taken off with a 1 snap-on. It's not as short as your 4-blade. It gives the dog a little bit more of a style as opposed to a stripped look. There's many, many uses for snap-on combs. Experiment with them. That's what we do. And we still keep learning. Different coats react different ways to them. And so every time we use them, we make our notations on which it's a good dog to work with and which is not. But if you just try them and experiment with them, I think you'll find that there's many, many uses that will make your life a lot easier. Thank you very much on behalf of Mystie and myself. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you ever have any questions, you can always contact us, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it.
We hope this program is beneficial to your business and personal life. Try all of John Stazko's products, developed by a professional groomer who's been there and knows the needs of the professional grooming industry. Stazko's spray will save the day, cuts brushing time in half, guaranteed. A wonderful spray designed to make grooming easier. In addition, it conditions the skin and coat, keeps coat cleaner and tangle-free longer, and contains sunscreen to help prevent coat bleaching. Used by professional groomers, breeders, and pet owners. Works great on short-haired dogs and horses as well. Stazko shampoo will give body to clipped and scissored coats like poodles and Bichons and Schnauzers, yet will condition, drop, and double coats like Yorkies, Maltese, Collies, and Huskies. Great for short-haired breeds as well. Coats stay cleaner and tangle-free longer, especially when Stazko spray is used. And it has the same unique scent as Stazko spray, which lasts and lasts. Stazko shampoo conditions the bather's hands, and to put icing on the cake, 1 gallon can make up to 25 gallons. Developed to become a grooming salon's everyday shampoo. The Snap-on Comb video is one of the most popular grooming programs, featuring the use of Snap-on combs. When and when not to use them, setting lengths, time-saving methods without jeopardizing quality, safety, and economic features, achieving uniform textures in drop-coated breeds, and more. The model used in this grooming demo is an 8-month-old Shih-Tzu ready for her first haircut. She was selected specifically to recreate a true salon situation. And now, 6 more programs from John's second all-day seminar. John Stazko's Grooming Seminar, the newest addition to the video library. A wonderful reference for anyone in the professional grooming industry. Now have all of John Stazko's valuable programs available whenever you need them. The Unit Booking Appointment Book, a system that creates even distribution of work each day while maximizing grooming income. Shows the entire week at one time. Contains 58 weeks to enable easy booking into mid-February. The ability to start using any time during the year. Date spaces are blank. Contains a general information, supplier information, and product pricing page. Laminated cover and instruction page. Professional Groomer's Quick Step First Aid Guide. Accidents can and do happen in a grooming salon. Be prepared. This booklet covers the common situations we face from time to time in a simple step-by-step manner. Professional Groomer's Quick Step First Aid Guide Poster, a reproduction of the Professional Groomer's Quick Step First Aid booklet in a 2 by 3 foot laminated poster for quick, on-the-spot reference. Try all of John Stazko's products because Stazko's products make a difference. For information and or to order any Stazko product, contact Stazko Associates, 4410 Verna Bethany Road, Mayaca City, Florida, 34251. Phone number and fax number 941-322-0226. Email johnstazko@aol.com. Visit John's website at www.stazko.com.